This video is for business leaders who don't want technology and the internet to make them and their employees dumber. I don't know, there's probably no better way to put that, but that's kind of one of the things we face. And yet, the internet and technology, in combination with using our brains right, can make us ever smarter. This video will show you how to do that so you can make better business decisions. If you can talk. To make better business decisions and be more successful. Have you noticed how much of the internet is sort of lowest common denominator and an echo chamber of all the same ideas and opinions you have? Well, the problem is, of course it is, and that's because it's the same for everyone. The algorithms are designed that way because it wants to give you, it's designed to give you more of whatever you are looking for. As though, and it isn't, as though that was somehow fundamentally the best way to go. It is probably the most effective way to achieve its goal, which is not to make your life better. So they're designed, basically, the algorithms are designed with two basic goals. That is to show you more of what you want to keep you online. And the next one is to sell you things it's been paid to show you related to your online activity. So it shows you what you seem to want so that you stay there and keep your attention on it. And then we'll sell you products that are related to those things that you're interested in, or that the other algorithms can determine that you're buying or purchasing or whatever, because it follows you around with all its cookies. So the last thing, or one of the final things it does, is it shows you content that that will genuinely help you to make changes in your business and life that will actually make it better. So that's not the purpose of the algorithm of the internet. It isn't to make your life better. It's to give you more of the same good stuff or crap that you look at yourself. So you vote with every click as to what you want to see. You vote by clicking on it. So something less obvious, and by default, what the algorithms do is it shows you content that can change what you think, believe, and know without you being aware of it. That is, because you are in an echo chamber and it's giving you the same opinions over and over, it's confirming what you already believe because it's designed to do that, or more specifically, just give you more of the same stuff that you already look for and believe. Unfortunately, that means it can be used to influence you in ways that you're not aware of, in terms of your thinking, in terms of your reasoning, in terms of your beliefs and all that kind of stuff. So watch to the end of this video for material on strategies and mindsets to help you stay smart and get smarter every day rather than dumber. And a recommended video on how to make better decisions for organization, whether it's for organizational change or day-to-day operations, or for your own life and yourself. So I'll be honest, I'm just as susceptible as everyone else. Literally everyone is, when it comes to engaging in content that wastes our time and makes us dumber. The only way to avoid this trap is essentially to be mindful before, during, and or after that which you're consuming. That's basically cognitive junk food. So just be aware of, oh, I'm going to watch this silly cat video. It doesn't help my brain. It doesn't teach me anything. It's just for fun. And if you're self-aware of that, that's an important point. But also during, that is, when you go down that rabbit hole of time-wasting cognitive junk food, do you stay there as like, oh, I kind of need to get back to my stuff? That's important. So being, whether you set a timer or whatever else, being mindful of how long you spend eating junk food or consuming junk food online, and also after, because that can be a reflection. If you go, wow, I just spent 2 hours today wasting my time watching crap online or consuming crap online that was of no value to me or my brain, being aware of that you can choose to modify your own behavior in the future. Remember, it's designed to keep you there going down those rabbit holes for as long and as far as it possibly can. That's its purpose. So, and here's the thing, it's essentially as bad for your brain as candy is for your teeth, waistline, and health. So like candy, it should be consumed in moderation, and by doing that, you'll waste less time and drain less IQ. And you can send it in the other direction too. So are computers shaping how we think? They absolutely are. Now, the inspiration for this episode was essentially one of the things when you learn about the internet and you learn about doing a program, whether it's YouTube, you learn how to do videos, as they say, oh, go check the keywords. And that's true, but that also means instead of choosing your own words and instead of choosing your own ideas, I always start with a theme, and then I pick a direction, sort of a sub-theme, and then I go look for the words. I don't say the words are going to help me choose my theme. So that's one thing you can do to prevent having it think for you. So you can continue to think for yourself. But that what happens is that means everybody is choosing the same set of words because they're high traffic, rather than thinking for themselves, rather than expressing for themselves. And that also means you get a narrowing also, because once there's some traffic, people just follow the traffic, and now they're not coming up with their own original thoughts or their own original material. They're just duplicating a theme based on words which are high in demand. So that narrows the content to that which people think is more likely to be watched. So it's kind of a dangerous path in a sense. Be mindful of that too. If you're a YouTuber or anything like that, okay, these words are good for traffic. Is it good for what I'm trying to convey? Is this good for my audience, not just for the algorithm? So really, yeah, the algorithm is telling you what to do, and it is shaping the way we are thinking. So are we thinking for ourselves? Well, in that sense, probably no, because even the colors of thumbnail in the lettering of thumbnails I used, as is standard, people say, go find somebody who's been really effective and successful in your genre and copy them. But while that makes sense on one level, on another level, it's like, don't think for yourself. So I would say, yes, we still have the ability to think for ourselves, but we're probably thinking less when we're online and we're interacting in an online world than we probably used to think for ourselves. So are we being trained how to think by the algorithms? Absolutely, we are. Is it good or not? Well, that really just depends. It's all in how we use it and how mindful we are when we do use it. So when you're online, just don't be naive about what it is and what its purposes are. So that's it for the standard content, and we're on to the bonus content, which has some ways to apply what I've just talked about. So that is what I'm going to call stay smart strategies. So use the internet for and only when you have a purpose for doing so. That is, don't just get on as like, well, I need to kill some time, go on the online. Sure, but understand you're consuming junk food if you do that. But if you get in the cognitive habit of saying, I use the internet when I'm going there to do something, to learn something for a specific purpose, that will help you keep you focused and away from the rabbit hole of lowest common denominator wasted time that the algorithm is going to try to push you towards. The next one is when you're looking for information and knowledge, because there's nonsense out there. Say, for example, gluten is terrible. I literally had somebody tell me one time it was garbage. It was like, have you ever actually looked into that information? As a mostly vegan guy, one of the primary sources of protein you can use is pure wheat gluten called seitan. And I can literally eat a giant block of it with no ill effects. So be very careful what you check. And when you check for new knowledge or new information, which is always pretty much stated as a fact, go look at diverse sources and look for consensus across diverse and credible sources. It suggests, but doesn't guarantee that information is accurate. Thing about the 8-second attention span was over what you would theoretically call credible sources, but it had absolutely no truth in it. Our attention span is not 8 seconds long, and it hasn't been shrinking as such. But the information is out there in such a way that even credible sources are just copying it from other sources. So that's why you have to watch, do you have diversity to look at credible sources, but also diverse sources and look for a consensus. And, think about whether it really just makes sense. Is it incredible? Does it seem ridiculous? So it's always good to actually question it. Another thing you can do is include these words in your searches. Meta-analysis. Now, what is meta-analysis? It just means an analysis of multiple studies or multiple pieces of research about something. So it's like, the effect of aspartame on, the artificial sweetener in Diet Coke, the effect of aspartame on weight gain. And one says it's terrible and it makes you fat, even though it has no calories. And another one says something different. So a meta-analysis would look at 50 studies or 100 studies or 1,000 studies on one particular problem, and then say, across all of these studies, here's what the consensus is. And the other thing that's great about using the word meta-analysis when you do a search is it tends to bring up scientific or technical sources. So it's not going to be sexy and fun junk food so much as it's going to be more technical sources, more serious academic sources. Doesn't guarantee they're correct, but at least it gets you in the right direction. And now you're looking at the evidence from a broad base over many studies rather than from one study, maybe sponsored by the company selling what they're saying is good, or the supplement that saves you and all that kind of nonsense. Now, the next one is, I'm going to call these mindful mindsets. I know that's a little redundant, but it kind of works for an alliteration, is that to keep in mind that the internet is amoral. That is, it's neither good nor evil. So you have to decide for yourself what is right and what is wrong and what is ethical and unethical, because it's just out there. It's being sold to the highest bidder. And if they're unethical operators in terms of the way they market their products, then it will be highly unethical. If they're highly ethical, then it will be ethical. So the internet doesn't care whether people are telling the truth or lies or being deceptive for their own purposes or being highly accurate and then selling things or putting out messages that are real and valuable. You have to watch for that, because there's no way to know without taking some of these steps and, of course, thinking for yourself. So it's essentially, the thing is, again, the algorithms are designed to shape and change you to buy what's being sold, no matter what that is. And that's why it's so important that you understand that it's amoral. It's like, what is the morality or what is the motivation behind the purchases that they're probably going to pop up? So if you see an ad, you can say, what is their agenda, their moral alignment? It might be something irrelevant, though. It might be, oh, coffee. It's like, okay, they have no evil intent. Maybe or maybe not, but just understand that the content you're being shown is a product of the algorithm and the advertisement. So those two things go together, and yeah, they don't really care about you. So it's essentially what the internet is a confirmation bias machine. And a confirmation bias is that echo chamber thing, that everything we consume online is designed to agree with what we already believe, even if that's not true. And this is one of the reasons you should try to do one other thing. And this is less a mindset and more of a strategy, is when you find something, you should also try to find disconfirming evidence. That is, gluten is bad for you. And then say, is gluten really bad for you? Scientific evidence, gluten is not bad for you. Meta-analysis of the health effects of gluten, and so on, to find out that no, gluten is bad for those with gluten sensitivities and gluten celiac disease, things like that. But it is actually a small fraction of the population. I believe it's under 10% and probably under 3%. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but avoiding gluten is ridiculous for anybody who doesn't need to, because it's actually a super high source of low calorie protein, especially when you're taking it in the form of seitan, which is like sort of almost like vegan chicken breast, leaving out only one amino acid, which is lysine. So you can sprinkle some soy sauce or mix it with grains, or sorry, mix it with some kind of beans or legumes, and you're good. You have a high quality source of protein that won't bother you at all unless you're in that specific subset. Okay, so ultimately seek disconfirming, not just confirming evidence. And the recommended video for today is Delay Judgment, but Share Facts to Make Better Decisions. I'll put it right there, and I'll put it in the description as well. So please share the love by sharing this video with others who will benefit from it. My name, this has been Crush It Club 258. Think for yourself, or the algorithm, or the algorithms will do it for you. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.